Hi everybody, it's Katarina with Libelula's Path, and I'm an Akashic record reader as well as an energy practitioner, and today I'm here to talk about the spring equinox. So as I tap into the Akashic records of the spring equinox, the first thing I want to talk about is a little bit of the history. Spring equinox marks the energetic shift of winter into spring. So winter is about hibernation, going within, going into our caves of our soul, whereas spring equinox is about showing up more of ourselves, showing more of ourselves to others, being out and about, creating relationships, doing some travel. These are things that are more popular and mark a significant change that show that it's spring. Visibly, we begin to see the sun out more. We begin to see the flowers bloom, the bees are buzzing, the birds are all around us. These are physical changes that we see in the spring equinox. Energetically, this is a big shift, and this is a very hopeful shift, especially for those who are having challenging times right now. There are also a lot of issues right now politically that I feel are affecting the collective, affecting the energetic body of the collective, as well as causing exhaustion. There are also personal events that are happening and that have happened in the winter that were very challenging and caused us to go within. And the spring equinox marks this period of things being a little lighter, things not being as heavy, and things being more vibrant. And when I say vibrant, I mean things just feel more positive. There's gratitude. Gratitude is easier to step into. There is also this period of growth in a way that doesn't really involve as much growing pains, but instead those growing pains have already occurred in winter, and now the growth is there. For example, so I can speak less more metaphorically, if there was a job you were trying to get and you were applying and there were applications you were putting in, then there was some challenges because you didn't get callbacks, or you just didn't have the motivation to fill out your resumes, or you just felt really low motivation, or you didn't know where you were going and you began to question where exactly you were in your life. What is it you really wanted? This spring will be the spring equinox marks this beautiful chapter of the right people you're going to meet. You're going to get the callbacks. You're going to align with the timeline that gets you the job that you desire. Those are symbolic of what the spring will bring and what is beginning today, which is March 20th. So this is going to begin up until I believe June, when the summer solstice will occur, but this is the spring equinox right now. And in 5 days from the spring equinox on March 25th, there will be a solar eclipse. So these two in conjunction, I want to talk about them in conjunction because they're very powerful. And think about the sun represents vibrance. It also represents, it connects to our solar plexus. So our relationship to our power, our relationship to believing we can get whatever we desire, and our relationship to accepting ourselves exactly as we are, instead of wishing we were someone else, wishing we were something else, but instead basking in the aura, basking in the solar light that is us. That is what the solar eclipse is all about. So I'm going to talk about both, and the solar eclipse in conjunction with, or so close to, the spring equinox is not a coincidence, and is also both opening. These next 5 days between March 20th and March 25th are going to be very fruitful for a lot of people. There's a lot of beautiful things that are going to align. I see jobs, I see relationships, I see the right conversations happening. I also see, if you're looking for somebody, if you're looking for a relationship, a mate, a partner, you're more likely to find that person during this time, because it's all about the bees and it's all about, when I say the bees, it's like it's all about love, and there's a sense of like sexuality and like being able to express who we are and find the person that we're meant to be in romance with, if that's what you're looking for, if that's what you're desiring right now in this time of your life. And if that's not something that you're looking for, there's also going to be there's going to be this alignment with ourselves, going to feel like we're closer to ourselves than we've ever been, and we're going to see ourselves more clearly. There's going to be less illusions during this time, less illusions of not being enough, not feeling like we're fully comfortable in ourselves, less fear around our identity and who we are, and instead more radical acceptance of our present body and our present identity in this particular lifetime. So I see a lot of focus on the present. For those who struggle to be present, there's going to be more of a catalyst and more support during this time to be more present with your loved ones. I recommend finding time to spend with others and finding time to be out in nature during these next 5 days. From the 20th, March 20th to the 25th, it's going to be so beautiful. I also recommend doing something that makes you feel beautiful, whether that's buying yourself a new shirt, whether that's wearing your hair a particular way, whether that's painting your nails, whether that's taking a shower with that body wash that you like. Something so simple but yet makes you feel so beautiful and vibrant and even sexy. So I do see that. And also the Akashic records are really urging me to talk about prosperity, because right now prosperity is going to be super in alignment for a lot of people. For example, when we go through times where there's, in our physical plane, there's not as much literal prosperity, let's say monetarily, the checks feel a little less consistent, or the checks are smaller, the money is less. But the thing is during those times, teach us the most about our relationship with our money and our willingness to look at the bigger picture and our willingness to manifest what we truly desire. Manifest that one day those checks are going to be really big. One day, and starting today, I'm going to align myself in vibration with what I know I monetarily deserve, and I monetarily know I'm worthy of. So that is really big during this time. Prosperity, our relationship to money, and also our ability, how are we reacting, and what are our thoughts during times where our physical plane doesn't have much evidence of where exactly we're going, or where exactly we will be. So it's holding on to our dream, holding on to our manifestation, aligning with our energy and what we deserve, what we are worthy of, and also knowing that there's always something to be grateful for, even if things feel challenging. So there's also this idea of being flexible, not being so rigid in our lives, being able to expand and being able to be a little bit more spontaneous in our life, not being so fixated on schedules and sticking so hard to our routines. Because the thing is if it serves you, do it. If it gives you a sense of peace and comfort, do it. And if you are so focused in your life trying to get from point A to point B by making your lists and checking them off and doing your to-do list, I don't know if that's particularly living, because what's the most beautiful parts of life are the most unexpected parts of life. And when we are flexible, we allow for the unexpected to come into our life. And as I'm saying this, I'm actually holding these open hands, these receiving hands. I like holding crystals during my my channelings and tapping into the Akashic records, because they just help clear the way for me. So, and I grab these hands because right now it's receiving. Think about the bird that lands in the hand. It's just, and maybe the hand has some food in it. Think of that as a metaphor for your life. You are offering the universe gifts by just being alive, and the universe will send you the birds the birds that you're attracting, whether that's the money, whether that's partners, whether that's just the feeling of being at peace and being happy in your life. That's something so simple, but that we can't fake, and that we can't achieve by through money or through monetary things. Instead, it's getting into alignment, changing our thoughts. So that is so important. Being flexible, being open, and allowing spontaneity in your life. And with the solar eclipse in particular, I wanted to talk about things it's very interesting because they offer duality, the spring equinox and the solar eclipse, because there's an intensity to the solar eclipse, whereas the spring equinox is this open, vibrant portal full of love and receiving and giving, and it's so beautiful. And then the solar eclipse is this urging, there's this sense of urgency to really tap in. It's kind of like what the solar eclipse is saying is no more playing games. It's time to sit with yourself and identify what is it you want in your life, because without spending time trying to achieve clarity, or trying to spend time aligning with that clarity by making more time, I keep saying time, but making more time to spend alone, or spend contemplating, or just doing things at a slower pace, we won't be able to identify what is it that we desire in our life. And it's okay if you feel confused right now, or you feel lost, but just know that when clarity comes, it is time for you to act. So if you no longer feel clarity, if you no longer feel confusion and you feel clarity, it's time for you to act. It's time for you to get in alignment, get your ducks in a row, and know that it's time to make the changes that are necessary for your growth. And that is what the solar eclipse is all about, is urgence, the urge. And it's beyond urgency. It's not even necessary. It is this sense of like, I need to do this now, but it's also, it's like this hand that's guiding us. We can't turn back. We can only move forward. And when we do move forward, we're urged to make the decisions that are in alignment with ourselves. And sometimes those decisions, our ego sees them as unappetizing. And when I say that, I mean our ego is like, I don't want to do that. I still want to play out my patterns of when I was little and I felt abandoned, or I don't want to do that. I still remember when I didn't feel enough, and I feel like I don't deserve to feel like I'm enough. So these are the ego is holding us back during this time, and the solar eclipse is shining light in that darkness that our ego resides in, and it is giving us guidance to move where we need to move. And that can be having that relationship, cutting off, having that conversation to end a relationship. It can be asking for that promotion. It can be changing the way you do things every day. It can be something simple as viewing food as nourishment, as opposed to viewing food as something to control and something that's bad. They're so simple sometimes, our actions that require changing, yet they're so hard for us to do because our ego and our past self wants to keep us in the past, and it wants us to not grow, and it's because it wants to keep us safe. It's out of love for ourselves, yet sometimes we have to have that tough love and stepping out of our comfort zone and saying, I love you and it's time. It's time. That is what the solar eclipse's motto is. So be gentle with yourselves. Identify when you might be a little spicier than usual that day, or you might feel a little ungrounded or uncertain, and just know things will be in alignment when source knows you're ready to receive it. Divine timing is everything. Divine timing is everything. Listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, because you know. Thank you all for listening to my guidance for the solar eclipse as well as the spring equinox. I hope you have a beautiful spring season, and until next time.